We're live. Want to thank you all for being patient. We was doing a little film study while in the green room. We was doing a little film study, so we got a show for y'all tonight. Another HBCU legend scheduled to be with us tonight. Nobody can get the guest quite like HBCU Coaches Corner. Give them about 30 more seconds as they pile in.
Man, we ain't got no music tonight.
Oh, you can't hear the music? My bad.
You ain't got that jazzy stuff going on.
Hold on, that's my fault. I got to get it right. I'm glad y'all let me know my music was off. Because it's going. It just didn't have it. Now y'all can hear it right.
Man, that get me going, Cole. That get me going. I like that.
Sorry about that, Coach. That's my fault. That's Coach theme music. Oh, they're getting in here. I'd like to welcome everybody to HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky Miller, your co-host, along with the Rattler, the Bishop, the Detective, none other than my main man, Mr. Stephen Campbell. And for our featured host, the man everybody tunes in to see. And today, you're going to get a treat. You're going to get, Coach going to break out the projector on you today. You're going to be able to see Coach break down a play, a very important play, a play that really something decided the SWAC championship. But we'll get to that later. But before all that, Coach, my man, Coach Johnnie Cole.
Man, what's going on, guys? Man, look, boy, we back again. Another great Tuesday, man. Another great legend that we're about to bring on. We kind of, I ain't gonna say pivoting, but yeah, we kind of pivoting from coaches, head coaches, to now legendary players in Black college football, which we think is important, man. They are our heroes. They went on from playing on the gridiron to better and greater things, and that's what HBCU schools do. And this guy I'm bringing on next, he's very close to my heart. I had the opportunity to coach him. He's the first quarterback to ever win an all-white PWI conference. He was the leader and quarterback of Tennessee State in the championship game against Murray State. We beat them 46-44. He threw 5 touchdowns, and he dropped one in the end zone. We threw somewhere we had a quarterback throwback. He threw for over 400-some yards that game. Like I said, 5 touchdowns. He set all the seasonal records at Tennessee State. And if you know anything about Tennessee State, they've had great histories of quarterbacks and Brian Ransom, 747, and a lot of great ones. But the guy I want to bring on, man, he's not just a great athlete. He's a father. He's a dad. He's a businessman. My friend now that I'm not his coach, Leon Left Foot Murray.
Hey, what's going on, Coach? What's going on, fellas?
Man, Leon, has been over 25 years. This is the 25th anniversary that a HBCU school in football, led by you, have won a conference championship where it's a predominantly PWI award. I think the coach just won it with Tennessee State. Last year they were tri champs or quad champs, something like that. But you was the first under the leadership of a fella I know very well. Used to change my diaper in LC Cole.
Yes, sir. Good times.
We glad to have you going. How you doing? Tell us where you are. Tell us about your beautiful kids, your beautiful wife, and what you're doing today.
So right now, we live a little bit outside of Atlanta in Powder Springs, Georgia. Like you said, been married for 17 years, two beautiful young daughters, 14-year-old and an active 10-year-old. And just, living life, running around with them. Little business, have real estate, and also owner of a logistics company. We do last mile deliveries for Amazon. And so, that's it. That's about it. Like I said, I spend most of my time being a free Uber driver, driving these kids around.
Well, let me just jump right in, man. I need to jump. How did you get from the University of Pittsburgh to Tennessee State, and what made you make the decision?
So, went to University of Pittsburgh from Louisiana because my parents were moving back to Cincinnati when I graduated. So, I was a mama's boy, so I wanted to stay close to mama. So went to Pittsburgh, got to Pittsburgh. They promised me, I'd play quarterback. That didn't happen. I got moved to receiver after 1 year. Played a year at receiver and tried to get out of there after my first year when they moved me to receiver. But we didn't have the portal back then, so I didn't get a release. So I couldn't leave. So I had to stick it out and play receiver. Played receiver for a year, and then we got a new coach that came in, and I was playing basketball at the time too. And so when I came in from basketball, I was like, "Hey, look, can I get my release?" He was like, "Just wait at the end of spring. If you don't like it, I'll give you a release then." So had to go through spring. He did move me back to quarterback. Had to go through spring. Had a good spring, but at the end of spring, he hinted that I would make a really good receiver again. And so I just was like, "Hey, look, can I get my release?" And he gave me that release. And so I left, just looking for different places, looked at some PWIs, looked at a few HBCUs, took a visit to Tennessee State. On that visit, met you and Coach LC, and fell in love with the family environment. Met my roommate Tyrone Butterfield there, and we stayed in contact throughout because he was transferring from Michigan. We stayed in contact throughout the recruiting process. He took a couple visits. I took one more visit, and we both were just taking visits just to be taking trips at that time because we had already kind of figured out, we wanted to be at Tennessee State. So, we both committed there, and best decision I could have made.
Yeah. One of the things that, I know the big thing about how Deion came in with transfers, I don't think they understood back in 1996 the transfers we brought in with you and all the guys, all the great guys that we brought in. Tyrone Butterfield, who was number 3 player in the country, who actually went to Michigan and transferred in. Then we have my big left tackle. I got it. It's been a while. Anthony left from the University of Illinois. Our front line, your front line, I should say, your front line. What, all 4 of them, the only one didn't play in the pros.
4 of the 5 made it to the league. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when you came in, of course, I can remember the game against Florida A&M. It was you and Todd Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We went in that game saying, "All right, Todd, you're going to start it off. You was the guy before. Leon going to come in the second half or the second quarter?"
Second quarter. And
Leon would do, and then, I'm going to make my decision then.
Coach, you was playing two. Hey, Coach, don't tell me you was playing 2 quarterbacks, Coach. No, Coach. You wasn't playing 2 quarterbacks, were you?
No. I said, Valentine, you got the first quarter. And if we roll,
Coach, you might have to give him a little history about Valentine. Was he was a freshman the year before I got
he was a quarterback before Leon showed up. He was averaging 300 yards a game before Leon showed up. So then here come Leon coming in. You know what I mean? So now I got the guy that I started this year with and Leon. No, I don't do that 2 quarterback system.
That sounds like 2 quarterbacks to me. Does it sound like 2 quarterbacks to you, Campbell?
It sounds like a quarterback and a half. So,
in defense.
Because what it was, Coach, see, let me tell you something. Leon's going to probably tell him. The guy was already there. Coach wanted to be lower, but he knew he wanted Leon because Leon probably in practice was probably performing. But he said, you know what? Let me just let this guy, because this is the guy I really want. I bet you that's what happened. Because we're going to talk about the FAMU game, Leon, that got you to sit on your way.
Coach, you hit it on the nail. I gave him because he was the guy. And, of course, that first year, you know, we having friction. We bringing all these studs in. We got these guys there, so we going through. So I said, okay, Valentine, you're going to start. If you're rolling, you're going to stay. Yeah. You know what I mean? If not, Leon come in a second. Leon came in and completed 15 straight in a row. It was history. I already knew what was going to happen. It was him. He completed 15 in a row, and we went on to get after them Florida A&M folks.
Coach, you didn't change Valentine's position, did you?
No. He stayed the backup. He stayed the backup. Okay. You know, he stayed the backup. But we wasn't alternating no more either, Coach. Let's get that straight. How was your experience from being at a PWI, big time, in the HBCU? You know, because a lot of people is like, you know, well, I'm stepping down. But what was your experience?
Yeah, so it was crazy because skill position wise, like it was so many skill players who could have played or should have been playing at those PWIs, the Big East schools, or all those schools back then. But the only difference I would say is the depth of the offensive line, and that was where you offense and defensive line. That's where you kind of see the differences. That's all scholarships. He had a lot more scholarships to recruit a lot more big offensive line. And of course, the resources. Resources are different at those schools, but from a player standpoint, man, like some of the guys I played with at TSU were some of the best athletes I've ever seen. So that honestly was kind of shocking because I didn't know, like you said, the perception is you're stepping down, but definitely didn't feel that way when you got there and started practicing and seeing the speed that everybody's playing with. It wasn't a step down.
Yeah. How did you feel off the field? Was it a different off the field feeling from Pitt to being there, on the HBCU campus?
Yeah, it was good and bad difference, right? The good difference was just being at HBCU, being surrounded by people who look like you, people who think like you, people who had the same experiences you have. Of course, at the time, the ratio was great for a young man, a 20-year-old young man, so that was great, but at PWI, it was different. Like I said, the resources. When I would be at Pitt and say I was broke, I'd have money in my bank account. When I was at TSU and said I was broke, I was broke. I had to go find, eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and really, figure things out. So,
wait, Leon, hold on. I got to make a statement. The statute of limitations have now passed, so he cannot make that statement about putting money in your pocket. So,
Coach fed me, but Coach, I didn't ask him for your money, and he didn't, he didn't have to give me none. But if I needed something to eat, he was gonna make sure I wasn't hungry.
As I said, the statute of limitations have now passed. That's what
now, Leon, coming in a black staff led by L.C. Cole, how did you feel about comparing the staff that you left at Pitt with us? Because a lot of times, again, it's like it's a down a level. Did you get what you came there for, or did you see not just yourself being coach? I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, but just throughout our whole program.
No, I can really speak for the offensive coaches because that's who those are coaches I dealt with, and day in, day out. I mean, we had some of the best coaching out there. Coach Ehrenfield did a great job with the offensive line. Coach Reese with the running backs, who later became a head coach. Coach Keiss who coached the receivers, who went on to do, good job, coordinating offenses on different levels. And you had who put together the game plans that put up one of the most high-powered offenses at Tennessee State, Alabama State, Texas Southern, wherever you've been, and of course Coach Cole, he just had the organization of the whole program, So the things we did them first class, as far as travel, like you heard stories and HBCU, the 3 or 4 people in the room sleeping in the room, and that wasn't none of that going on. Everything we did was first class. It was, of course, again, bigger schools have bigger budgets, so it's different. But everything we did at TSU was, you didn't feel like you were at an HBCU at times.
Hey, Leon, tell me about this pregame ritual where he say during home week he take them out in the woods. Where'd you take them, Coach?
Hey, the first time me and Butterfield heard about that game, he's coming from Michigan, I'm coming from University of Pittsburgh. We were like, going to the cabin. What's going on here? And so we didn't know what to. But for real, it was some of the best bonding that you could do out there, though, because you're sitting.
And guys, that was the first time that HBCU schools were taking their kids off campus. Yeah. Didn't nobody do that? Nobody done that. But we were the first ones. And of course we couldn't, it was new to HBCU, so they didn't give us money to take us to a hotel. So LC had a connect with Woodman of the World, a big old insurance company that would send us money. And so we took the kids out to the Woodman of the World campground on Friday. And we would hold a fire.
It was a great time. We go get something to eat, go to a movie, and head out to the cabin. Like I said, it was some horseshoes being played. We tried to sneak a little basketball in when the coaches wasn't around. We had a good time though. Sitting there and everybody talking about each other in the cabins because it was a lot of fun. Like I said, when I first thought about it, I was like, man, we went out to the cabin. What is this about? But once you got out there, you're like, oh no, let's get back to the cabins. It was fun. I enjoyed that.
Let me ask you this, Leon. Were y'all that terrible when he had to keep the girls that get y'all that far away from the girls?
Probably so.
Because that's what that's all about. That's all that is. That's all it's about, getting you away from those girls, man, before game night.
They were they all been there, done that, so they know what had happened to a bunch of 18, 22-year-old guys sitting on the campus with that much access to you. It was a smart move for sure.
It's gonna be tough making curfew night before the game.
Yeah, otherwise take us out to the woods.
Did you know when we ended up losing to Middle Tennessee State, who eventually went to Division I the next year, and we had 10 more games. 8 was on the road. Did you know that we would run the table? Did you feel, of course you guys would be having your own conversation, and we really thought we were pretty good.
Yeah. I was about to say that we thought we were good. I didn't personally, we just, we take off like that. But we knew we were pretty good, at that point. Like, we let that game slip away from us. So it felt good. Like, it wasn't a moral victory, but when we left that game, we knew we had a good football team. We knew we could compete with anybody, and so we definitely thought that we were going to win a lot of games. Did we know we were going to win the championship? I can't say I left like, oh yeah, I know we're going to win the championship, but I knew we had a chance.
Yeah. Well, let me. I'm going down memory lane. We played East Illinois. Yeah. East Illinois guys, and right then we were high powered. We were 39 a game. We kicking some butt. We rolling, y'all. And who we playing with at Eastern Illinois? What's his name? The quarterback.
Was that Romo?
Yep, Romo. We playing Romo them on their family day, Rob. and they had us something like 21-7 at half.
Yeah.
And they up there saying, where this high-powered offense at? Leon them had me crying, Steve. I said, man, we can't go out like this. We too close to rolling for the championship. Shit, Coach. What was your mind at then? You remember that halftime?
Yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, because I
remember walking in and LC said, "Don't holler at nobody. Just don't holler at them. Just come on in and talk to them, and we okay." What was your thought?
So that game, I'll never forget because I remember I had turf toe that game. I was having turf toe then, so it was wet. It was just one of them games. It was just nasty out there, and we knew we weren't playing good. But like before y'all came in, we had already, we talked about it. Like, hey, look, we got to wake up. We weren't worried. That was the craziest part about it. Like as a team, I remember, God rest his soul, Jerry Hillary came in. Like, hey man, like, are you worried? I was like, nah, like we gonna win. Like we weren't worried about losing that game at all. And I don't know if that was just foolish, naive thinking by us, or just that much confidence we had. But we knew we hadn't played, our type of football. We knew we left a lot of stuff out on the field, and so we were just, talking about what we need to do to fix it, and we weren't really sweating that the performance the first half at all, because we knew we were better than that.
Yeah. My last question, I'm gonna turn it over. Man, if you could do it all over again, would you just go and come on to Tennessee State and I wouldn't even have to deal with Valentine?
If I could have left after my first year, yep, I would have did that, Coach. Would I have? If I know what I know now, yes. But not knowing what I know leaving high school, I probably still would have chased, that PWI first, being an 18, 19-year-old. And then, but if I could have left after that first year when I tried to leave, I'd have came down, because you weren't there at TSU when I came out of high school yet. I think you were still at Southern.
I was at Southern, yeah.
I think you were still, because but yeah, so I think I would have came when y'all got there. I wouldn't have went before though.
Now you got two little girls, two beautiful girls. One is a heck of an athlete.
Yeah.
Daddy, I want to look at are you showing them the HBCU, or are you keeping that open?
So my youngest, like I said, she that's the athlete. We went to Tennessee State earlier this year, and both of them really enjoyed the game when they played A&T the first game of the season, and they enjoyed the game. Honestly, it's the first time we have been back because they're so active on the Saturdays. I don't have many free Saturdays to get to too many college games. So that was the first. No, that was their second game they had ever been to. My oldest had been to one when she was a little bit younger. But it's definitely an option. I'm definitely going to let them make that decision. I'm not going to force them anyway. They got to create their own path, and I'll support them whatever they do.
All right, man.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna pass it over to now. Here come the real questions.
No, Leon, this is what I want to ask you. You say when you were at Pittsburgh, your position had been moved from from quarterback to wide receiver. And then you came to Tennessee State as a quarterback. How were you able to stay sharp enough to walk into that situation and be the starter in the first game when essentially you hadn't played quarterback since high school?
Yeah, so I did my first year at University of Pittsburgh. They did. I traveled my whole first year as a quarterback. They took me to every single game as a freshman, dressed me out, did everything as a quarterback. So I played that whole year as a quarterback.
Okay.
And then that next year, we had 3 receivers that played for us transferred out, and when they transferred out, they moved me to receiver. And then, like I said, when I came back in, when I played basketball at Pitt too, when I came back in from basketball, we had got a new coach, and he let me come back in the spring and move back to quarterback. But I mean, I knew I was a quarterback. I knew I didn't want to play receiver. I wasn't a receiver. So like I would always pick up a ball and throw it, like even after practice when we run routes, I would run a route and I'd go to quarterback and throw the ball. And then I'd run another route and go to quarterback and throw a ball. So I never stopped throwing the football. And I never thought about staying at receiver either. So.
Oh, okay. And because this is why I asked. We currently in the SWAC, especially, we have a lot of guys struggling at quarterback. I don't know how close you follow the SWAC, whatever. And we don't know if it's and to be honest with you, I was teasing Coach Cole about playing a couple quarterbacks, right? But a lot of teams in this league play more than one quarterback. Coach Cole hates that. He hates playing that they won't commit to a guy.
Yeah.
In your opinion, I know this ain't necessarily got anything to do with you, but what allowed you to be successful coming from Pittsburgh, where you didn't get any live game reps at quarterback, but then you get in the game first game, and you're able to go 15 for 15. What happened to you in that time frame that allowed you to be successful when you came on the field, and obviously you were prepared to play quarterback?
I think what you just said, you were prepared. You knew what to expect. You knew what to do in certain situations happen. You were coached up. You had good game plans, and you had confidence. That's one thing Coach Cole made sure we were all confident. Like we weren't going to lack any confidence in that quarterback room. So you knew what to do. You knew what checks you should be making, what audibles. You knew the game plan. We used to have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and come watch film, make sure we knew the game plan. So we were well prepared. So it wasn't many surprises when stuff happened. We had seen it before, and you knew, like I said, you knew what to expect.
So let me ask you this: in your opinion, has there much changed about you? Also coach. So those of you who don't know, Coach Murray was a coach also, and I'm just asking you: did much change about coaching the quarterback position from what you experienced in college to what you ultimately saw at that level coaching?
I don't know if, and I hate to sound like an old person right now, but I think some of the players have changed. Like you used to coach. Now coach is hard now. He didn't baby us. He coaches hard. Some of the stuff he used to say sometimes, I don't know if you get away with that right now. To be perfectly honest, you probably get thrown up in the president's office for some of the stuff that used to be said. So I think just being able to be mentally resilient, some of them, could be they're just not resilient. They've been kind of handed things and kind of pacified a little bit to where when something happens, it's harder to shake back than it was for us. Like we something bad happened. It's like, hey, look, it's bad. What we do? How can we fix it and keep going on? That and then just like you said. Not having patience. I think everybody doesn't have the patience to let somebody mess up a few times and stick it out. And the coaches are in hot seats every 2 years, and so if their quarterback isn't playing good, they want to see if the next guy can play better. And so that's why I think that's why you get 2 or 3 quarterbacks playing in a year, because everybody wants this instant success, and if it doesn't happen right away, you lose patience.
Now, Coach Cole won't say this, but and correct me if I'm wrong, Coach Cole, you believe the quarterback's performance on Saturday has everything to do with how he's prepared Monday through Friday, right?
Ain't no question.
So when you see a player fail out there, Coach Cole's contention is it's not the player failing. it's the coach not having the player prepared. Do you agree with that? Even though you've been in coach,
I agree with both. I think at the end of the day, you always say you're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen, right? So, if you're coaching him up and he knows what to do, then he's going to go out there and get the job done. So I do agree with that. As long as the player has the talent to do it. If you're not asking him to do things he can't do. If he can't throw and he's just a running, then find some stuff where you can run the ball. But if you recruited the right person and you got the right person out there, then yes, it's on the coach to get them ready to perform. And very few coaches do a really good job of that.
Yeah. Hey, I want to thank you, Leon. Before I pass you on to Mr. Campbell, I'm sure he's our historian. So I ain't no telling what he may ask you something about what happened in 1970. Who knows? Mr. Campbell, it's your turn.
Well, Leon, I'm gonna tell you something. First, it's a pleasure. I actually saw you play, and this is what's been great about this. Everybody that's come on, I can say. So let me set this up so you understand what I'm getting ready to start with you. I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi. I went to school at Florida A&M. So two of your biggest rivals, I am a part of. So we're going to deal with that later. But I wanted to talk about something because of Coach Cole's background and you. So I'm going to throw out a couple of names, and I want to see if you understand where I'm about to go with this. Joe 747 Adams, Eldridge Dickey, Joe Gillum, Brian Ransom. Did you realize the greatness of the position of quarterback in Tennessee State and how historic that position was at that school when you came?
I didn't, to be honest. Before I got there, I didn't. I didn't know the history of it. The two HBCUs I really knew the history of were Grambling and Southern, being from Louisiana. Right. Didn't really know Tennessee State's history like that, but learned real quick when I got there about the history because I love football, so it was fun, diving into them facts and learning about these guys and just trying to live up to what they had already established. Being such great athletes and great quarterbacks.
Just to piggyback off that, Campbell,
go ahead.
Joe Gilliam actually, remember Leon? He actually would come and work with us. Mm-hmm. And if you know Joe Gilliam and his background, he was still going through those things. He would actually come to my office and talk and let me know what's going on, but yet fall asleep because he was going through those things. But he actually, Coach, worked with us a little bit. He worked with us.
I remember him throwing the football. When he came out to practice that one, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And he knew Lionel Taylor, who was my college coach, was on the staff when they were winning those Super Bowls. So I just want to add that to it. Joe Gilliam actually came back and worked with us a little bit. And he taught me a lot.
And the thing about with Joe Gilliam, you're talking about one of the first quarterbacks that started in the NFL, played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's why and you answered the question because it was such pride when, again, being from Jackson, listen, you're talking about a long lineage of Jackson State and Tennessee State and these big battles, these top-ranked teams. Because, again, you're getting there a blue blood and you guys going like 20-5, 20-4 in your 2 seasons there. And then you're playing these historic games against Jackson State. You're playing against FAMU. So that's why I was wondering because when you heard the Tennessee State quarterback, that was, and again, in black college football, that was like the running back at USC or the quarterback at Notre Dame. When you said that guy played, you had to be good. So that just let me know when we saw this guy, they're like, he's got to be good. So going to that, because we got a lot of people, got a lot of Jackson State people watch, a lot of FAMU people. In those big games like that, when you put, and again, beat Jackson State twice, beat Florida A&M twice. What do you remember about those games? Do you remember the intensity of those games and things like that? And did the old alumni, the football alumni say, hey, these 2 games, you better win? Because I know you guys win a conference, but Tennessee State was an independent, and they used to play anybody at any time, mostly all the HBCUs. Did any of the old guys kind of tell you, hey, you get ready to play Jackson State, this is what it means, you get ready to play Florida A&M, this is what this means?
No, I think we knew, by the time those games come around, like I said, I knew the importance of them. The whole week, you know the build up going into those games. you know what to expect. You know, in Memphis, you're gonna get 50,000+. And when we played FAM in Atlanta, you know, you're gonna get, you know, the Georgia Dome is gonna be sold out. So you knew what you were walking into. So you just really had to, you know, focus in and not let the moment get too big for you. You know, not get too anxious, too excited. You know, try to stay level and be, you know, just go through your preparation like you usually do, but you know it's a little bit more significance at the end of the day.
All right, I'm gonna ask you this one last question. Tell us about this legendary game Coach mentioned against Murray State when you throw for 491 yards, 77 touchdowns. Because what's funny, again, me being around this age, a little bit older, so I'm probably 28, 29, and this is before the internet. Pre-internet, really. And I would go, and there was a great sports writer named Roscoe Nance, and he would write about all the game. And we pick up the paper. We're like, man, did you see what this cat did at Tennessee State, threw for 491? Do you remember that game? And how are y'all just cooking like that?
We had a great game. So it's funny, like I said, go back to coaching. We had a fullback who had over 100 yards receiving that game because coach had saw something in the game where he was open on a lot of underneath stuff, and he was going. The coach told you I dropped one. I caught a touchdown that game too, Coach.
Wait a minute, you caught it too.
Yeah, I dropped one and then caught one on the.
You were slashed, huh?
In the end zone. Can you imagine somebody throwing 7 touchdowns and catching 2 themselves? He dropped it, man.
But there's no.
Hey, he might could have got into the Tennessee State Hall of Fame if he had caught that one, huh?
Yeah.
But no, I do remember that. That's one of the best games I've ever been a part of. Period. I mean, the magnitude of it. You know, that was the first championship, so it was special. You know, we had a block and field goal to have a chance to win that game at the end. And
let me ask you this, Leon. I want to ask you this. Y'all were the only HBCU in a PWI conference, right?
Yep.
Carrying that mantle, what did that mean for you guys, or did it mean anything?
Yeah, it was special. I mean, because yeah, like we got some calls that sometimes just leave you scratching your head. Some games, like, man, you know, you go to Eastern Kentucky, you get calls and things that you like, man, like, hold up, man, like you ain't supposed to call us that, you know. So it was special. You knew what it meant. You know it. And I would say, like, after most of the games, you know, this talking that went on before the games and during the game, they kind of would say, hey, look, you know, great game, y'all, at the end of the game. So it kind of came with more respect thing by the time you left. So those were the good feelings, is going in there knowing you're going to get not the best calls in the world. You know, you're definitely not going to have the fans on your side, and then walking out, you know, still overcoming that. You know, like, we felt it was special. We knew it was special, and it felt the significance was big for us.
Yeah.
Did you feel as if you were repping the culture as well?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. We used to spank Florida A&M, Jackson State, like it wasn't nothing. Just sweep them off, bam, bam, bam. But let me say this: those guys, man, was a great group of guys, man. They were so popular, Campbell and Rocky, in the city, that the Titans at that time was new in town, right? They'd be at the door waiting to get in. These cats come up to the club. Oh man, that's Tennessee State. Come on in. They used to get the Titans in the club. We played homecoming, guys. We played homecoming, and we had 44,000 in the big stadium. They were on top, Coach. It was 44,000 in '99 when we went 11-0. You know.
Coach, did Steve McNair, any of those guys? Well, I know he's a HBCU guy. Did he ever come around or anything while you guys were there?
We talked a few times because I knew. So Anthony Dorsett, he played with me at Pitt, so he was on the team at the time, and so I would talk to him every now and then, and I see Steve, like, the sports bar. He owned a sports bar not far from the campus, so I see him and I talk to him and that. But he didn't. I didn't see him on campus, and I don't know if I don't know if he snuck in there and saw Coach or them, but I didn't see him on campus. I would see him off campus, and we would speak, and he would give me some tips and things like that. But no, never did I see him on campus. Did I see him on campus outside of when they had training camp?
Yeah, tell us about your time. Once you left Tennessee State, you had opportunity. I think free agent to the Redskins, and then he was also an outstanding coordinator at Morehouse. Where he averaged. What was y'all averaging at Morehouse?
The first 4 or 5 years, we was low high 20s, low 30s. Depending on the year.
You actually helped him go to the playoffs, right?
Yeah. First time in school history.
At Morehouse.
Yeah.
And Richard Freeman was our linebacker coach, who was the head coach.
Mm-hmm. All tied back to TSU again, like Coach said. So he was the linebacker coach at Tennessee State when I played there. Then he was Coach Cole's defensive coordinator at Lane. And when I was playing arena football, I came in the off season down to Lane. That was a funny story here. Went to Lane just to volunteer because I was playing arena football. And Coach introduced me. They had used to have a chapel at Lane, and he introduced me. Told him I was volunteering. The president of the school was in there. He was like, "Hey, Coach, come see me after this." And he told Coach when we walked in there, he said, "Hey, don't nobody work here and not get paid?" And the man cut me a check that day for helping out. He didn't want me volunteering. He cut me a check that day. It had some good times.
Well, now, Leon, were you there when Denzel's son was there?
I came the year after him. He was there the year before I got there. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Coach, man, we don't want to hold you long. I know you got the family time and the business is going, and I love you like you're a son.
Yes, sir. Love you too, Coach.
Man, we had a great time, and I know you had a great time, and I want to thank you for letting me be a part of your success, man, because you didn't have to take the coaching. You could have came in with that big time attitude. You didn't. You soaked it all in, man, and the rest is history. And I'll never forget those days.
Me neither. I appreciate it, but appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Anything else, Rocky? Or
No. I just want to say thank you, Mr. Murray, and congratulations on being inducted in the Tennessee State Hall of Fame.
One of these days, hopefully.
Are you not in, Coach?
Oh no.
Coach, hey, Coach.
Hey, that's
come on now.
Hey, look, that's a whole nother story about the 98 and 99.
Well, don't feel bad. Bruce Eugene
I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah, don't feel bad.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's a whole nother episode of why some of these cats ain't in these Hall of Fames, Coach. That's a whole nother. But hey, Coach, if you want to stay around, y'all want to dive right into this last play, or we want to?
Yeah, if you want to look at the play with us, you certainly can, Coach.
What you want to do, Campbell? You want to wait, or you want to?
I probably say about another 10 minutes, and then I have to go get that little one in the bed.
Oh, okay.
But hey, Coach, we can go ahead and cut you loose. I want to thank you, Mr. Murray, for being on, man. And if Campbell, if there's nothing else, where can they find you, follow you, or moving forward, Mr. Murray?
I have no. I think Instagram is at Realtor Coach maybe. I don't know. I'm very rarely on there. I'll go on there and like somebody's picture and I'm back off of it. I don't do too much social media, but yeah, I try to stay as low key as possible.
Yeah, Coach low key. When we had some real good talks on that sideline during the heat. When I need him to step up and yell at somebody, kick somebody in the butt. Hey, look, we ain't doing what we supposed to be doing, baby. You got to come out of that quietness. But
I'm quiet to myself most of the time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Leon, for everything, man. Appreciate you coming on. Hey, this is your first time, but I'm pretty sure it won't be your last, man.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate it,
Leon.
All right, Coach. That was another great interview by one of your former players and associates, Coach. We got to give him let's give him Leon Murray his flowers, man.
He's an HBCU great, man, along with the rest of them. And I guess I can tell everybody, y'all get ready because I'm going to bring on Superman the next time when the show comes.
Oh, no.
Bring Superman on, Coach. I ain't going to say his name, but they call him Superman.
He's coming on next week, Coach.
Yeah. Then we're gonna bring in another cat, man, played back in the 90s, old school, national champ quarterback. So we got a good lineup.
Hey, Coach, you getting everybody, Coach. You getting everybody. Hey, Coach, maybe you sure we want to have Superman on here, Coach? You know he from Jackson State, right?
Yeah.
Well, Campbell, should we have him on here?
You doggone right, man. Superman, listen, I already got that ready, boy. Listen, I don't know if I'm gonna have a background. I might have to have that video when that boy put them shades on. Y'all don't rock. You don't know nothing about that right there. You need to go look at when that boy put them shades on, let you know who he was. Come on, man.
Hey, we're gonna bring Superman on here, Coach, and we're gonna get them all, man. We're gonna get them all, Coach. I've been lining up, and my connections been feeding. They like the legend, the legend period that we have in our show, man. I think it's good.
Well, you say this is a legend series we have in here, Coach.
Yeah,
it's a legend series, man. We got.
Let me say one thing. Let me say one thing.
Go ahead.
And Leon was being very humble. That man, let me tell you something, and I'm serious about it. Coach knows this because Coach was there. And Leon, when you were the quarterback at Tennessee State, and Rocky, I'm telling you something, them cats, whoever the quarterback, because Tennessee State was forward thinking way back. Because you got to understand something. It was guy, and I think Joe 747 Adams, the reason why I went to Tennessee State because they threw the ball. And they were ahead of the game. And this is what I'm saying. When some of these people talk about the coaching now and things like that, you're talking about legendary coaches that had legendary offenses. Rocky, these guys were throwing for 2,500, 3,000 yards like it wasn't nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about complex offensive systems where these quarterbacks would, like what you see today, it would be embarrassing if those guys could get a teleport and come now. It would be, they were literally, like Michael Irvin said, I'd catch 200 passes. These guys throw for 5,000 yards at this SWAC now, or MEAC. Easy to Tennessee State quarterbacks. That's how crazy those guys are. And that dude there told FAMU and Jackson State up. And like you said, they come to Atlanta rolling that FAMU ball. Now we had Billy Joe. This one we had a bomb squad. Okay, so we're winning the MEAC, and these guys are winning the OVC, and they're beating us, and we're going to beat playoff teams. So man, just really, really amazing that and I appreciate Coach because I think what happens is, and I'm going to make one thing because what bothers me sometimes. We have people that think HBCU football was started in the 2000s. That's all they talk about. And they don't understand that these quarterbacks and these guys like a Leon Murray and guys like that were just tearing it up. Like I said, we saw, like what you saw with Jacoby Morgan, Andrew Body Coach, tell them we saw that every week.
Every week, Coach. That was every week. It was every week. It was every week.
Every week. So that's what I'm saying. So that's why people were excited. And people that's my age, when I'm sitting up here seeing a game when you see Jacoby Morgan and again these historic programs, when you saw those battles like that, again we talked about Bruce Eugene and Superman Kent, Kent go for 500 something crazy, you know what I'm saying, and all these things like that, him and Darnell Kennedy, and then Bruce Eugene coming in to playing those games. So we saw those games. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there and let you guys know the people that we're talking about, man. These are some superstars, man.
Yeah, it looked like Coach may be having some. So, hey, first off, I want to thank everybody for watching this stream on the Off Script channel. I had to get through that Leon Murray interview. I wanted to get the complete interview on the Off Script channel. We're about to suspend the stream on the Off Script channel, but you can always catch it on the home of HBCU Coaches Corner on the Rocky Miller channel. So I'm going to paste it up in here one more time. Y'all hit me with the ones once y'all switch over, and then I'll suspend the stream on the Off Script channel. I want to thank you guys for watching on the Off Script channel. Now,
Rocky, you have a little bit of sound problem too. You sound like a trans.
I do.
Lagging.
Oh, maybe we got some lag going. Hold on. Let me get Coach Cole up here. Okay, am I better now, Campbell?
Yeah, you sound much better.
Yeah,
okay.
Just straight out. But, you know, I wanted to piggyback off what Coach was saying because I watched those guys as a high school kid. Doug Williams, like I said, Joe 747.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.